let us all do we can to build a better future. But now, Daniel, you got a story for the people. Well, what is going on?
Okay, so we have another really just kind of sad story that sadly I'm covering today, but has to be talked about. So we are seeing a new incident come out in the last minute with, effectively Japan scoffing at South Korean court, which has ordered Japan to compensate 12, I'm just going to call them comfort women. You can see the more accurate name in the text from NPR.
Yeah.
And this is a long issue that has been plaguing relations between the two countries ever since the war. And, you know, it's something that I think a lot of us miss stories like this. So I think it's even more important that we talk about these, at least what's happened. So a South Korean court has ordered, I should say, the Japanese government to pay compensation to a dozen South Korean women who were forced into sex slavery during World War II. The decision has renewed tensions between the two countries, with Japan immediately rejecting the ruling. The Seoul Central District Court called for the forced sexual slavery of women by Japan's military during the war a crime against humanity. The Associated Press reports the court added that the existing deal between governments in Seoul and Tokyo do not prevent individual victims from seeking compensation. The court ordered Japan to pay each woman named in the lawsuit 100 million won, which is about $91,000. So this is based on that Japan and South Korean governments negotiated with each other previously for maybe it's actually in the full article. But they got a very big settlement that was supposed to be administered, but the actual women who were still alive at that point, and many of them had actually died because it was so long ago in the process of this lawsuit happening, that they are now saying effectively, hey, you never even consulted us when you made this deal, so we're going to individually sue Japan. So, continuing. This is a landmark ruling. The Korean Council for Justice and Remembrance for the Issues of Military Sexual Slavery by Japan told the New York Times. However, it's unlikely Japan will obey the ruling. The chief cabinet secretary to the Prime Minister of Japan said the ruling was extremely regrettable and that Japan was not subject to Korean jurisdiction. And further, 7 of the 12 women named in the lawsuit actually died before this ruling even happened. A separate suit was filed by 20 other women, some of whom are also deceased. It is set to be decided next week. However, the former comfort woman, as they were euphemistically known, have made it clear that they're not. It's not the money they're concerned with, but an apology. So I just wanted to make sure everyone's aware that this is happening, and just like we're losing World War II veterans in general, for the most part, they're gone. This is a dying thing too.
Yeah. Look, I'll just keep my comments brief on this, but from 1910 to 1945, the Korean Peninsula as a whole, before it was divided between North and South, they were an occupied territory, and the Empire of Japan committed war crimes. It's simple as that. That happened. And the wounds of that occupation and the people who suffered under it are still very raw. There will have to be more time for healing. And the only thing that I would recommend that should have been done, that was needed to be done, is that a representative for those women, which should have been there with the South Korean government and courts, so that they can finalize this deal. Mm-hmm. It needs to continue on, and Japan needs to acknowledge this ruling too. Obviously, they need to have another meeting and a deal to be done immediately. But the women need to have, I know right now things are tough with COVID-19 and the virus, but a representative for those women has to be there present so that their request, they want an apology, damn it, let them have it. Okay? And will this heal the wounds of the war? Still no. It's still very real for a lot of people. And this is going to take time. And I wish that this story was different, but here's hoping that clearer minds prevail between the Japanese government and the South Korean government, so that eventually we get down that pathway for a better future.
Yeah, and it's it's just one of those terrible things in the world that we have to keep doing. And And also one reason that this never really got dealt with to the full extent, and the same reason for like the rape of Nanking, is that, communism was the thing that was happening and we needed allies, and Japan was the one that was there and China was the one we didn't like. So that's, communism is why this wasn't addressed. So, yeah.